بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وعلى تابعيهم ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد رب يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين يا فتاح رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي رب زدني علما والحقني بالصالحين سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم سبحانك لا فهم لنا إلا ما فهمتنا إنك أنت الجواد الكريم. Once again, my dear respected elders, brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, we will begin. Mufti Wasim will be joining us momentarily. Today, inshallah, we will be discussing the entirety of Hajj in 3 separate sittings. We will begin right now, inshallah, and we will begin with the discussion of the importance, the 3 types of Hajj, and also the virtues of Makkah and Medina. We will have a 10-minute stop in between after that, which we will use for either water breaks, bathroom, or for question and answers. Inshallah, we will be sending a microphone upstairs for the sisters so that they can ask their questions also. After that, inshallah, we will dive into the physical, spiritual, and mental preparation that's required for Hajj, from what you pack, how you prepare yourselves. And inshallah, that will be a very extensive discussion. We will give, inshallah, 15 minutes break after that, and then we will dive into our last and final of the 3 sessions, where we'll discuss all the logistics, the practical steps, and we're not going to go into fiqh today, brothers and sisters. We're not going to go into the jurisprudence of Hajj, because I want you all to understand the Hajj is much greater than just fiqh. The do's and the don'ts can be observed if we have a game plan of what we want to do and what it is that we don't want to do. It is better to teach, and I believe in this, that teach people what's the positive way and not what's negative. If we go around saying, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, it kind of, to me, is a turn-off. So, inshallah, we'll kind of talk about the Hajj of Rasulullah ﷺ, putting it in practice with what's the reality on the ground today. And inshallah, we will end with question and answers, and hopefully by then will be the Asr time, inshallah. So, without further ado, let me just check one thing with Mufti Wasim, inshallah. Okay, there we go. So now. La ilaha illallah. Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So we want to begin this first session, which will be from 2:30 to hopefully 3:20 or 3:30. And that is, inshallah, to discuss A, the 3 types of Hajj, and B, the virtues of Makkah and Medina. I want to ask anyone here in the crowd, how many of us can tell me what are the 3 types of Hajj? Anyone? Yes. So the brother responded, for those who didn't hear, Hajj Tamattu, Hajj Qiran, and Hajj Ifrad. These are 3 different types of Hajj when it comes to the spiritual aspect of the performance itself. Now, he's not wrong, but I want to give a total different angle, and that is the 3 different types of mindsets of Hajj. The first mindset, and jazakumullah khairan for that, the first mindset of Hajj, which prevails in our society today, is the Hajj of mandate, the mandatory Hajj. You're sitting in a khutbah, or you're sitting with friends, and you're listening or discussing about Hajj. And someone says the Hajj is so important that you need to perform it. If not, it can be counted against you. And you hear the hadith of Rasulullah ﷺ, in which he states, whoever is not prevented from doing Hajj by genuine need, an oppressive ruler, or debilitating sickness, and dies without having done the Hajj, فَلْيَمُتْ إِنْ شَاءَ يَهُودِيًّا أَوْ إِنْ شَاءَ نَصْرَانِيًّا. They could die as a Jew, they could die as a Christian. Rasulullah said this. Very strong hadith. And you hear this, you're like, whoa, I don't want to be like that. Now, I'm not going to go into the discussion of the hadith, but what Rasul ﷺ is saying about die as a Jew or Christian, the Jews were given certain things to do, but they chose what they wanted to do. The Christians were given certain things to do, they chose what they wanted to do. The day of Jumu'ah was given to the Jews, but they chose Saturday. The day of Jumu'ah was given to the Christians, but they chose Sunday. The day of Jumu'ah was given to the Muslims, and we accepted it. There's something unique about why this ummah stands out, and that is, وَقَالُوا سَمِعْنَا وَأَطَعْنَا. We listen, O Allah, and we do. We don't play the game of logic. We don't beat around the bush. We don't try to cut corners. We do what Allah wants us to do. Because remember, the Jews and Christians are our brethren in faith. The revelation that came to them was sent by Allah. The messenger that was sent to them was sent by Allah. But what happened was that when they started following their own wishes and desires, it went down a whole different path. And so in order for us not to go down that path, it's imperative that we continue to define ourselves with sami'na wa ata'na, and not what Allah said regarding the others, sami'na wa asayna. Ya Allah, we heard, but we'll do what we want. So the first type of Hajj is what we call the mandatory Hajj. A person says, you know what, I don't want to go to hellfire, so let me just go and get this obligation done. I've met many people in the course of my life, alhamdulillah, I've been blessed to see that some of them went with this mindset. Look, I don't care about Saudi Arabia, I don't care about the place, I'm just going to go get my Hajj done. But brothers and sisters, Allah's mercy is great. That mindset, alhamdulillah, changed once they got there. But remember, the mindset that you set out with, set out doesn't mean you step into the plane or off the plane. It means that you make the intention to start the process of preparing yourself for Hajj. That mindset has to be correct also. So I ask of you, brothers and the sisters, to go with this mindset that I'm just going to fulfill this mandate on my shoulders. Is that the mindset we should go with? Yes or no? Huh? Majority are saying no, some are saying yes. If you say yes, you will go and do what you want to do without your heart being in it. It's like how we pray to Allah, astaghfirullah. Sometimes I'm guilty myself. Just get it done, Allah, here. But we're not doing prayer for Allah. We're praying for ourselves. We're praying not because Allah needs it. We're praying because I need it. See, if we remind ourselves these things, if we don't remind, we will forget. And when we forget, we will fall victim to this mindset. Don't go to Hajj and just say, Allah, here's Arafat, and here's the Jamarat, here's Tawaf, I'm going home. No. Hajj is greater than just a mandate. Hajj is actually the greatest opportunity for you to understand what life truly is. Hajj, my dear friends, is a rehearsal of death. As people rehearse their funerals, the culture in America, as people rehearse their weddings, some rehearse graduation parties, you do it first with friends just to make sure that the one you're going to do is perfect. We go to Hajj to rehearse our death. How am I going to die? How am I going to go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Let me rehearse this. So the mandatory mindset should not be the mindset you go with. For I feel it is a very shallow mindset, and you are depriving yourself from much good. The second mindset, the second type of Hajj, not the fiqhi Hajj, but the Hajj that we see common in our world today, is what we call the memorable Hajj. I call it the Kodak moment Hajj. Where you make sure, first thing, we want to go to Hajj, but we want to go with the right agency, which is fine. And we're going to call our friends to find out which agency has the best hotels, the best food, the best tents, the best buses, the business class flights, the best comforts. I think I could do this Hajj. We want to go and take flights. We want to take photos with the Kaaba. You want to take photos with Rasulullah's grave. You want to show the world on the day of Arafah, look, I was on the mountain praying. Oh world, witness, I'm a Haji. See, the first thing that came to mind was, I want this to be so comfortable that I'll remember it. That's what we call it the memorable Hajj. It will be just a remembrance. It's not going to make you. So brothers and sisters, I ask you once again, a memorable Hajj, is that the Hajj we should be seeking? Yes or no? I'm not saying you should not look into the intricacies of your logistics. I'm not denoting that. I'm not saying no. What I'm saying, if that's the first thing that comes to mind, then that will never meet your expectation, brothers and sisters. The bigger the hotel name is, the smaller the rooms are. The more the cost is. The longer the walk may be getting into the elevator, down from the elevator. Haram is still going to be crowded. The tents are still going to be crowded. The bathroom lines are still going to be long. The buses can go only as fast as the traffic goes. And the airplane's going to get you from point A to point B regardless. So understand, if your beginning mindset is what it is, that's called setting the bar. What is it called, everyone? Setting the bar. You've set an expectation. In the first case, he's like, I don't care about anything. I'm just going to go and tell Allah I did it. So the bar for their self is low, and in their mindset for religion is high. Like, I did it. In the second scenario, the bar for themselves is high, the bar for Allah is low. Yeah, we stayed at an amazing hotel, we had a suite, we were looking at the Kaaba. Yeah, and I went there and prayed Jummah in the Haram also. Interestingly, and it's mind-boggling, the people who live in hotels, which are quite a ways, they will be walking from 10:30 in the morning to get there for Dhuhr. And the ones who are staying right in front of the Haram will pray in their room because the speaker system is connected with the Haram, or best case scenario, will go downstairs to the Musalla in the hotel and pray. Just let this sink in. The Haram, where a prayer is 100,000 in rewards, is dead smack in front of you, but you're going to go downstairs to the Musalla to pray. Just let that sink in. So what happens is, if that was your expectation, then getting that reward isn't front and center. Staying comfortable is front and center. Understand this? So, the first thing that comes to your mind when you want to do Hajj should not be either of these two. But as I said, it's imperative that you understand clearly the logistics and expectations that you need to prepare yourself mentally for. Some Hujjaj go, you know what, I want to do the Hajj of Rasulullah ﷺ. I'm going to walk in Hajj. Don't even try it. If you can't even walk to CVS to pick up your prescription when you drive, don't even do a walking Hajj. Don't try to be what you're not. Don't say that our deen is suffering. That really, I cringe when I hear that. Oh, you need to suffer and Allah will give you more. No, you don't. You need to do your Hajj. So for that, make sure when you do reach out to any agency that you understand very clearly your flight route, your hotels, your schedule. These things should be clear-cut, because they do factor in your ibadah performance and quality. If there's going to be no food, you have to be prepared to go get food and also get your prayer. But if there is food, then you need to do your prayer and then go eat food. These are different things we'll talk about, inshallah. So mandatory, yes or no? Mandatory mindset, yes or no? No. Memorable mindset, yes or no? Okay, what we need to do is we need to have a meaningful mindset. That I want to make this Hajj meaningful. What that means is I want it to move me. I want it to change me. I want it to mold me. I want it to better me. There is a there's a deeper meaning, a greater meaning of Hajj that I'm going to seek. I am a person who is going to put a halt to my daily routine, my accustomed lifestyle, my hamster wheel, which we call it. And I'm going to go into the mercy of Allah and say, Allah, I want you to make this bigger than I could ever dream it to be. I want you to show me the miracles that you said in the Holy Quran. Fihi ayatum bayyinat. There are open signs of yours there. Let me see those signs. I want to see the place where Ibrahim alayhi salam and Ismail alayhi salam supplicated, Rabbana taqabbal minna. Oh Allah, accept from me, accept from us. And then they set the first stone as they re-erected the Kaaba. I want to see the spot where Ibrahim alayhi salam was standing and that stone was facilitating like an elevator as he went up and he placed the stones. I want to see Hijr Ismail, that semicircle which was once a part of the Kaaba. And as there was fight during the course of the centuries or the course of the decades of the Kaaba becoming large and becoming small and becoming large and becoming then small and then staying small. The Kaaba was never a cube. The Kaaba was rectangle. That semicircle was incorporated in the Kaaba. And then it was taken out of the Kaaba when Quraysh rebuilt the Kaaba, when Rasulullah was around 35 years old, because they never had the halal money to build it that big. They were idolaters. They worshipped idols. They believed also in Allah, and they believed that their gods should only have what is pure from them. And that is why the Quraysh used to perform the Kaaba tawaf with good garments, and people who used to come from outside, if they couldn't afford to rent their garments of purity, they would perform the tawaf in the darkness of night naked. You know why? Because they revered the house of Allah. They honored the house of Allah. They wanted to do what was right. So the Kaaba became small. Rasulullah's mansha, his wish and desire, was the Kaaba be its full size. And so it happened after him, only for the Kaaba to be brought back to a smaller size. And I think when Imam Malik rahimahullah was asked about it, he said, let it be what it is. Let it not become the play and the game of the different rulers. So the Kaaba is today what it is, but that semicircle on the opposite side is a part of the Kaaba. And if you pray in it, you are praying in the Kaaba. I want to go and walk on the same terrain where our mother Hajra alayha salam, she ran frantically between two hillocks, looking for life, looking for a solution for her son. I want to drink that water where the angel struck his wing and the water of heaven came forth, that till this day quenches the thirst of millions of people, where a baby's cry was answered. I want to drink that heavenly water. Fihi ayatum bayyinat, brothers and sisters. There is miracles in Hajj. Beyond the miracles that are there for history, you will insha'Allah experience your own miracles. But for that, the first thing you need to do is make the mindset, I want to have a life-changing, reprioritizing, spiritually energizing, morally uplifting Hajj, and that is a meaningful Hajj. If that's the mindset we can set out with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, now we need to understand stage 2. Stage 2 is, why am I going to Hajj? Yes, Rasulullah ﷺ told us that it is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. It is the last of the 5 pillars of Islam to be mandated. It is a practice that Rasulullah ﷺ performed only once in his life, and that too months before his demise. And inshallah, the story of the Hajj of Rasulullah ﷺ, we'll be talking about inshallah this upcoming Friday in the khutbah. But there was an understanding of why I'm going for Hajj. Yes, you have to be Muslim to go Hajj. You have to be mature to go Hajj. You have to be aqil, sane to go Hajj. You have to have the means to go for Hajj and the means to take care of those who are behind you while you're on Hajj. You need to have the safety of the path to and from Hajj. These are all requirements. But as I was saying in the khutbah, I think last week, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in the Holy Quran, وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. You are going to build a relationship of love with your Allah. You are going to restore a relationship of commitment with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is a journey of love. Every aspect of Hajj is love. There is not a single step that you will take from the time you make the intention for Hajj till the 40 days or 2 months after you return, but it's all about love. Rasulullah said, I'll just say this hadith before I translate the verse, أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ قَدْ فَرَضَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكُمُ الْحَجَّ فَحُجُّوا. O people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made Hajj incumbent upon you, so go do the Hajj. As the Sahabi said, أَلِعَامِنَا هَذَا يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ أَمْ لِلْأَبَدِ. Is it just for this year, or do we have to go every year? Rasulullah stayed quiet. He said, is it this year or for every year? He stayed quiet. The reason being was if he insisted, or if Rasulullah said something, Allah could have made it mandatory for us to go Hajj every year. Imagine 1.7, 1.8 billion Muslims doing Hajj every year. So he stayed quiet because deen was actively being introduced. Similarly with the Taraweeh prayer, Rasulullah started the prayer. The next day many of the Sahaba gathered. Then after that he stopped coming out for it. Why? Because if this act continued in this manner, gaining such momentum, and it was trending, virally trending, if it was to become beloved in the eyes of Allah, which it was, it would have become mandatory. And if we as Muslims today in America do not pray our Taraweeh, we would have become sinners. And so for that, it was the hikmah, the wisdom of Rasulullah that he did not continue this practice openly. So when this Sahabi was asking, أَلِعَامِنَا هَذَا يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ أَمْ لِلْأَبَدِ, only this year do we have to go every year? He stayed quiet. But understand, it's not just a practice. Hajj is the only pillar that combines all other pillars in it. You have to have faith. You pray. You fast. In the first 10 days of the Hijjah, people do fast. Arafah is the best day to fast, although it's not recommended for a pilgrim. But in the first 10 days of Hajj, before the Hajj, people fast. And fast is also one of the ways of compensating for one of the practices of Hajj. 3 days in Hajj, وَسَبْعَةٍ إِذَا رَجَعْتُمْ, and 7 when you return. تِلْكَ عَشْرَةٌ كَامِلَةٌ. Allah's talking about the 10 fasts. And lastly, you give charity. Because every dollar and cent you spend in Hajj is multiplied 700 times. So, a pillar that encompasses all other pillars, a pillar that isn't just an act, it's a relationship in the works. It's a relationship building in the work. It is a journey of love. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, going back to the verse, said to all of us, وَلِلَّهِ, and for Allah, عَلَى النَّاسِ, it is a duty on the people, حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ, to come and do the Hajj of His house. I gave you life, Allah is telling us. Allah is telling us He made us from nothing. We were not in existence. Then from a drop of semen, a clot of blood, flesh, and weaving bones into flesh. ثُمَّ أَنْشَأْنَاهُ خَلْقًا آخَرَ. We made it into something new. Allah gave us everything. Made us who we are. Blessed us with what we have. Granted us the time and the opportunities that we benefit from or we waste. And Allah does not want anything from you. Nothing but His desire, His wish. And take it as your mother. If she is gone back to Allah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put light in her grave and give her peace in Jannatul Firdaus al-Ala. Say Ameen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward all our mothers with the best of the best for all their sacrifices. Ameen Rabbil Alameen. And if your mother is alive and you talk to her, and if she's not here with you, and she says, you know, my son or my daughter, if you get a chance, I know you're busy. I know you're working. I know you have family obligations. But if you could call me once in a while, just come and see me, I'd love to. Now, who of us would say, you know what? Every single excuse every day supersedes in priority than my mother. There would come a day, wouldn't there be? Okay, it's downtime in business, or the school is off, or my project is done, or I'm not doing anything now. Let me go see my mother. And as long as it takes for you to go see your mother, the thought stays on your mind constantly. I need to go see my mother. Allah loves us way more than our mothers. Allah gave us our merciful, loving mothers, and Allah loves us much more. So don't ever let this thought go from your head that Allah is saying, come and see me. Come and do the Hajj of the house. But then He also stipulated the condition, مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. If you can make it. If you can come, I'd love to see you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with honor made this house once again after the flood of Nuh alayhi salam. With honor told Ibrahim alayhi salam to call the world. Call the world. The voice went everywhere. Tell the people to come. وَأَذِّنْ فِي النَّاسِ بِالْحَجِّ يَأْتُوكَ رِجَالًا. Call them for Hajj. They will come walking. وَعَلَى كُلِّ ضَامِرٍ يَأْتِينَ مِنْ كُلِّ فَجٍّ عَمِيقٍ. And every mode of transport that come from far distant lands. لِيَشْهَدُوا مَنَافِعَ لَهُمْ. So that they can witness the benefits for them. Allah's going to call you to His house and ruin your life? Never. Allah's going to call you to His house and make you hungry? Never. Allah's going to call you to His house and disgrace you? Never. لِيَشْهَدُوا مَنَافِعَ لَهُمْ. I want them to see their benefits. No one goes to Hajj and ever becomes poor. No one goes to Hajj and comes back a loser. No one goes to Hajj and is deprived from the mercy of Allah. No one. So Allah is saying, come if you can. So now that we are aspiring for a meaningful Hajj, and we do our due diligence when it comes to booking and planning and reservations, I want to speak about a few things that we need to know based on that. Who is your host? Your host is no one else but, tell me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everyone else in the equation should be serving as facilitators and servants for you as you are in Allah's house. So if you ever go to an invitation and someone sends you like that flyer or the Evite, it tells you who's inviting you, when they're inviting you, what occasion they're inviting you for, and what time you have to be there, right? Everyone's with me on this? So Allah's inviting us. The venue, Crystal Banquet Hall? No? The venue, everyone? The Kaaba, Baytullah. Jazakallah khair. The venue is the Kaaba. The venue is the place that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it a safe haven, a hub of security, a station of prayer and purity. And remember when Ibrahim alayhi salam and his son Ismail alayhi salam were raising the foundations of the house, saying, "O Allah, accept from us, verily you are the all-hearer and all-knower." There is not a single dua that Ibrahim alayhi salam made after that dua, including that dua, but it was accepted. If you ever want acceptance, go to the house of Allah. Brothers and sisters, we need to start making a culture of frequenting the house of Allah. That culture is really gone. If you're going overseas to back home countries, stop for even 24 hours, for 48 hours. Make the Umrah and go. It's important to visit Allah's house. The more you visit Allah's house, the more you are benefited by it. Not only is it a safe haven and a hub for security, but it is a place where, as I said, everything is accepted. Du'as are accepted. Number 3, it is a place where you will find solutions for your predicaments. فَوَلِّ وَجْهَكَ شَطْرَ الْمَسْجِدِ الْحَرَامِ. Rasulullah wanted. If you come to the class next Saturday about, inshallah, about Dajjal, Gog and Magog, and Dhul Qarnayn, a very in-depth historical and Islamic perspective. I may touch on the point of why the Kaaba was significant for Islam. Because Sulaiman alayhi salam, Dawood alayhi salam established the land of Israel as the first holy land. And Sulaiman alayhi salam built the Masjid Aqsa as the capital building in that land. So for all the prophets, the capital and the capital building, along with their Sharia, was that land. Rasulullah wanted us to be defined as different. So as Masjid Aqsa was the direction of our Qibla, he wanted Mecca to become the capital for Muslims. And so Allah accepted. Not only did Mecca become our capital, but the Kaaba became our capital building. And the Quran became our constitution. We became an independent nation from all the other nations. It's a very deep thing which has to be elaborated upon. But this is a place where you find solution. Rasulullah is in Medina asking Allah, begging Allah, قَدْ نَرَى تَقَلُّبَ وَجْهِكَ فِي السَّمَاءِ. Oh Muhammad we see you raising your head in prayer. He wanted Mecca so bad. He wasn't asking for a car. He wasn't asking for a spouse. He was not asking for a job. He wasn't asking for children. He wasn't asking for money. He wanted this for us. فَلَنُوَلِّيَنَّكَ قِبَلَةً تَرْضَاهَا. We will soon turn you to the direction that you desire. And in the prayer of Dhuhr, Allah said, فَوَلِّ وَجْهَكَ شَطْرَ الْمَسْجِدِ الْحَرَامِ. This is a place where you will find solution for your predicaments. And last but not least, this is a position for resolutions and change. Brothers and sisters, if you want change in your life, you can make it in the house of Allah during the Hajj. I cannot even begin to tell you the numerous stories of what Hajj does to a person. Imagine a person who is in their 60s and all they do, and this was their life, they used to work in the day and they used to drink all night. They used to be in a very bad state, but the family stuck together regardless. And one day he went to Hajj. Went to Hajj together a few years ago. And subhanAllah, he tells me that after the performance of the Hajj, when he came back and he removed all the pictures and things from his shop which were not conducive for the eyes of a Muslim, he said to me that the smell of alcohol now makes him sick. How does this change happen? When you target that change at Allah's house. If you're just going to go there, I'm going to go there and see. It's like a person walking into a Black Friday sale without an idea of what they're looking for. You need to know where you're going, what you want to get from there, and how you're going to do it. It's called a plan. Make this plan, but before you make the plan, know that Allah is your host, the Kaaba is the venue, the Kaaba is the place where you will find safety, acceptance, solutions, and resolutions for change happen there. And it happens only once a year. It happens only once a year in a specific month, on specific days, at a specific time frame, with a specific schedule. If you go to Arafah on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, have you completed your Hajj? Yes or no? There was a brother who was with us in Hajj. Well, he wasn't with us, sorry. We went to his house in our old community. He said he went for Hajj from his country because he trusted the affairs of his country. And they had a VIP Hajj group with celebrities and movie stars and so on and so forth. He goes, on the first day of Hajj, we put the ihram on by the Kaaba. And we prayed 2 rak'ah. And we went to Mina. We prayed Dhuhr. And then we went to Arafah. And Imam, we were on top of Jabal Rahmah. We were the first ones there. And we made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then we went and we pelted the shaitan. Do you know, the next day, after 24 hours, my cousin calls me and says, I'm in Arafah, where are you? We said, we're on the beach of Jeddah enjoying. He went to Arafah on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah. Arafah happens on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah. He did 5 days in one day. When one day has to be done in 5 days. If you're in Arafah on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, but you go to the Arafah on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah after Maghrib, your Arafah is not done. Your Hajj is not done. You need to come back the next year. That is why those who are sick, those who are in hospitals, what the government does is with helicopters, they take them over Arafah so that their Hajj can be done. They came for Hajj, something happened. They will transport them, just make a loop into Arafah and back so that their Hajj is done. But if you don't know what you're going to get, what are you going to do? The last thing I'll say before I give it over to Mufti Wasim is what's on the menu. So Allah's calling us to His Hajj, to His house, on a specific day, for a specific reason. What is He going to feed us? Sometimes it happens between friends, right? You know, you called me to the house, what are you going to cook? You know, you could tell them, I want this, that, and the other. What's on the menu